Tom, we're just finishing up with an energy meeting, a very high tech meeting here at the Athenaeum, and it brought us back to those days when you and I used to do a show together. It was the late '90s, and it was when the internet was so new, and you were the host of it. You remember those days?
I do remember. Let's see, it was at 2 Union Street. I was working for Jerry Daub. It was the Internet Cafe. It was kind of early days of the internet, so most people didn't know really what it was. And so they would come upstairs to the Internet Cafe. We had 6 computers, and we would show them what it was and then try to sign them up to Nantucket.net. So it was to our benefit to get them interested and intrigued. And they could also rent time on the computers up there.
Right.
And they also had classes up there. So, Jerry Daub and his wife were really the conduit to the internet and that whole world.
Everybody had to have Nantucket.net, or pretty much they were the internet provider, weren't
Yes, they were. And it was very small to start with. There was a little closet that had the modems. And we had a T1 line that came literally physically up the stairs from the phone company across the street, a great big pipe really, with the wires in it that went into a closet. And in the closet were a few modems that looked like the kind of modems that we used to all have in our homes, which were separate devices that would plug into the computer and then plug into the phone line.
Right.
Well, we had the same thing at our end. So your computer modem would call our modem. They would handshake like a fax machine does.
Right,
and they'd be on the internet.
Days.
So there were so few
that
people.
Crazy modem sound.
Yeah, and there were so few people signed up that we just had a few modems. He would know how many, but I mean, it seems to me we had about 10 modems in the other room. And I would say to Jerry, well, 10 modems, I mean, everybody who we've signed up gets on. Of course, they didn't get on at the same time.
Right.
So the numbers, it was very mathematical. Around 6 o'clock or something would be our big number. And when 10 got on all at the same time, we were jammed up. So then we had to buy more modems.
Yep.
And eventually expanded.
And you and I met at around that period, and we started to do a little show that was kind of like a tech show. It was how to use the internet and interesting Site of the Week.
Site of the Week, that was what it was.
And actually, I want to let people know if they would like to see you.
Site of the Week.
Site of the Week. They're in Geno TV. They're on.
We should start Site of the Week again.
Well.
So I'll explain what Site of the Week was real quick. I'm remembering it just now. It was great. You had the camera really close, sort of like now, so it was a little uncomfortable. But it got the me and the computer in the picture, and I would pick some sort of site that we were all intrigued with that week and show how it worked. And it was all very new, so people were actually a bit excited to see what the Site of the Week was. Yeah. It was kind of cool.
And have you continued to maintain your interest in technology?
Oh, yeah. I do once a week down at Saltmarsh. I do a little thing at 10:30 on Fridays. People have to sign up first, call in or something, and they show up until about 12 or 1 or so.
And the Saltmarsh is a senior center.
Right, it's the Saltmarsh Senior Center, and basically we have a computer hooked up to a projector, and it projects onto the screen. So whoever's there could be 2 people there, it could be a dozen people there. Whatever we're talking about, we show up, throw up on the screen, and it's a funny thing because you never know on the day what you're going to be talking about. It's not like a structured class where now we learn to do this. It's sort of someone comes in, how do I do this? I usually don't know the answer, but between us we figure it out. Maybe somebody else knows. There's so many different computers and operating systems and so on.
You've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. You'd think I'd know more by now, but
I don't. That gets us to this one aspect that we wanted to bring attention to. A gentleman who you have been watching for years. Would you tell us a little bit about him?
Leo Laporte, yeah.
Okay.
Leo Laporte's amazing, so I'll try to do a short version. I could go long on Leo Laporte.
Maybe just tell folks how they get to see him if they wanted to go and listen to him
it's they go to iTunes and search for podcasts and search for Leo Laporte. It's LeoLaporte. And he now has, I'll go to the present, and then I could go backwards a little bit. Now he has probably 15 or 20 video podcasts, which also can be audio podcasts. So you can these days see this stuff on your iPhone, your iPad, your computer of any kind, on your television, depending on how that's rigged. The reason he's really good is he's a blend. The technical guys know their stuff, and they can talk to one another, but they're not very good at talking to a normal person, because a normal person can't understand what they're saying. He's a rare bird. First of all, he's a radio TV personality, and that's what he was before he even did tech shows. So he's very good with those skills of being on camera, on the radio, and so on. And it's quite a talent. He takes a long time to get good at it. He's got that, but he also has a fascination with technology and an interest and an ability to communicate. So he ends up translating for the complicated. He'll have a guy on who he understands, we don't, but he can translate. So and that's what he does.
Yeah.
In conjunction with that,
best.
for years, he used to produce a lot of books. How to do this, how to do that, technology, Windows for you, that kind of
Right.
stuff. He stopped doing that a few years ago, but he did that because he can do that very easily. He can explain the complicated thing in simple terms, and that's what we all want.
You bet.
He had a TV show called Call for Help, which sort of encapsulated the thing it was ZDTV, became Tech TV in California. They were really well funded. He had that show and another show called The Screensavers, which was for more advanced people. A lot of people, millions of people then got to know him and appreciate him and followed him. And since that was shut down, and he's now made his own broadcast studio on the internet, all of those people, and he also was on the radio and still is on the radio, all of those people have followed him wherever he's gone. And now that he's on the internet, they're following him like crazy. So he's a major success story in video podcast land.
Interesting. Right.
Yes, and all the shows, because the technology is constantly changing.
Yep.
His guests and the topics are changing. It's all up to the minute. I mean, this stuff changes week by week.
Well,
So it's fascinating to watch his stuff.
so does he have his own? He must have his own website too that you can actually go to.
Sure. Well, he has as you can imagine, he has a million websites. A place to go is Leoville. Funny thing about his website was it was antiquated. He's the most techno expert guy around, and he let his website just get complicated and crazy and old-fashioned. So it's improved a bit. But if you just search for Leoville, you'll start to get the links in a massive number. Or Leo Laporte, do a Google search.
Sure.
And you start to get the stuff. You go to iTunes and search podcasts for Leo Laporte or technology podcasts.
I mean, and if you're interested in a plasma TV or there's something on your computer doesn't work, I mean, he does call-ins too. You can actually call this guy and
Yes,
he's like a
the
tip
call
guy, right?
Yes, his radio show is the one that's most like that, and that's.
Oh yeah, he's on Sirius XM.
Yes, and so he has call-ins. People, it's so popular that people be waiting for hours to get their call online. But if you're listening, you're apt to hear your question sooner or later. The podcasts, I mean, with 17 or 20 or whatever the number of podcasts are that he's got now, and he hosts maybe 5 or 6 of them, maybe more. He has other ones where the expertise, you mentioned television, isn't really his, so he'll have a guy who just does stuff about home entertainment systems or whatever you call that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he has lots of very specialized technology broadcasts too.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tom. We'll look forward to
we
stopping
should do
over.
Yeah, we should do the show again.
We certainly should.
The site of the week or
Let's
something.
do it.
Maybe that's a little antiquated, but
Why not? Let's bring it back.
the site of the week. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.